Welcome, everyone, to episode 74 of Manifesting with Meg, Conversations with Extraordinary People. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing you to my good friend and amazing talent, Syya Yasotornrat. So I got it somewhat right, and we're going to move on because I don't want to bastardize anybody's name. It's a beautiful name, and we might ask you actually where the origins are of that beautiful name afterwards. But thank you so much for coming tonight. It is the month of August, everyone. This is the celebration of friendship. We are talking about our theme, enthusiasm is contagious. And I think with podcasts or Facebook Lives or YouTube videos, you got to be enthusiastic or nobody's going to watch you. So definitely happy to have Syya here with us. She is the original Syya. So any of you out there who absolutely love the artist, she is the artist. So you're going to love her. I do. She is so much fun to be around and have conversations with. So I am super, super excited to have you all join us this evening. Once again, this is a show based upon my book, The Magical Guide to Bliss, 366 Insights a Day that'll take you on an incredible journey toward your dreams, spirit, and inner bliss. I encourage everyone to join us on that adventure as well. It's about transformation, dreams, inspiration, true happiness, discovering bliss, and time to manifest the life of your dreams because, yes, you are just steps away from living the life you desire. It's time to wake up to a universe powered with possibility. And definitely, Syya is the person who will bring that to you all this evening. So before we begin, I'm very intentional. As you all know who watched this show before, I do ask my guests to set their intention. One of my favorite thing is to talk about my intention being to have a good time because I'm always interested in having an amazing conversation and enjoying myself. So for sure, I invite you all to join us in having a good time on this Monday evening in August. And once again, Syya, go ahead and set your intention. At the end of the interview, we ask you to pick a number that will correspond to a page in the Magical Guide to Bliss. So without further ado, let me introduce you all to this incredible powerhouse. Syya is a self-described podcast obsessive. So, if she's obsessive, she's got to know what she's talking about for sure. She's the co-founder of Innovation Media Enterprises, a boutique podcast strategy consulting and production agency focused on branded podcasts. She's also an insanely active podcaster with 5 active shows. Yes, people, 5. So if you're ready to work on one, obviously she knows how to juggle it all and she does it well. I'll tell you that. As a longtime listener of old-time radio shows and podcasts during her 20 plus years in corporate technology sales and IT recruiting, she's embraced her creative side, left corporate America to go all in with podcasting and entrepreneurship. So everybody's a story to tell. And Syya, she has her sights set on making sure that happens. Not only now, tonight we get to hear her story. So thank you for joining us, Leslie Andrew. We are so happy to have you here with us. I want to, welcome you, Syya, and I can't wait to have this conversation. You are definitely one of my favorite friendships formed over the last year. So, I'm so happy to have you tonight. Yes, definitely.
Oh, Meg, thanks for having me.
No, I'm super happy to have you. And did I miss anything? I'm sure we're gonna get through it, right? In the how little time we have, right?
Oh, my ego's big enough as it is, so thank you. You're welcome to keep going. It's okay.
I'll keep going. So, tonight is this wonderful quote based upon, Andrew's saying my non-biological sister. So I'm glad to know that we are in fact related, Syya, which just really makes it even more profound. Sisters, there you go. Anyway, but I'm so excited tonight. I love the synchronicity of the interviews that I have because this interview falls on a Walt Disney quote. Whatever you do, do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they will want to come back and see you do it again. And they will want to bring others and show them how well you do what you do. Now, bottom line, you definitely do podcasting well. You are very skilled at it. You have a great podcast voice. Maybe I should practice it. That lovely sound where the melodious, that comes out of my mouth. I'm sure that many are like in my family are like, but you are definitely for sure one of those gifted speakers. So this conversation today is so you based upon this quote. And when you do something that you do love, people flock to you. So, if we add passion to that's something, then that's when the purpose comes to light. So I love to delve into, from a place of why, because of course you said that you were a big fan of radio. So, it's still there, I imagine. But, radio is an art in and of itself. And then certainly the podcasting angle and how you've gone in that and basically turned that into this incredibly lucrative business for you. I love to say that Disney is lauded as to have the happiness place on earth. Certainly, if you're doing what you do well, then maybe being with you in this world, all of you out there, it could be the happiest experience on earth. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh my gosh, girl. I don't know how to tell you other than first off, thank you for that wonderful. I mean, that was such a nice read up and intro. I don't think I've ever seen anyone so prepared
Oh,
than you. I mean, I think that's a lesson learned number one for podcasters is definitely prepare. Like, wow, that was pretty impressive. So thank you.
thank you.
Um, and in terms of, Disney, look, when you think of family, when you think of entertainment, when you think of memories, Disney, hands down, has got it nailed, right? They understand the process. They
Yeah,
understand how to tie in emotions with experience that make everlasting memories.
yeah,
And
I love
when I worked at Disney, I was fresh out of high school. I only intended it to be a summer job kind of thing. And I ended up staying there for almost 6.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I became a corporate trainer over there, part of the Disney University. And for those that are in the corporate world, Disney has a university that they take organizations and teach them the philosophies of really putting the customer first, right? But in Disney vernacular, it's guests. It's be our guest.
Yeah.
Truly, we're all cast members because we're all part of the stage to
Mhm.
ensure that there is a perfect vision of that experience. I've applied that to my personal life, both
Yeah.
when I was in technology and recruitment, but also in the podcasting space. So, happiest place on earth? Absolutely. Now, of course, if you guys also know me, I'm cheery and, enthusiastic, but I'm also sarcastic at times. And so, one of the things I used to love to say is Disney, the happiest place on earth until you work there.
Oh, yes.
And I say that with utmost respect. And the reason why it's until you work there is because if you know the true meaning of what Disney's going after, of course you're gonna have enthusiasm. Of course you're gonna have passion for carrying on that Disney message, but it's work
Yeah.
and it's focus. And
Yeah.
you have to have that fire in the belly to keep that enthusiasm.
The
And
fight.
that means you have to love yourself.
I love that. I think that what you just said, at least, first of all, did I know that you worked at Disney? I don't even know that, but I love the synchronicity around that particular point. The fact of the matter is that you did for many years, you were a trainer at the university itself, and that is fantastic. I definitely know that memories are what bring us a lot of joy and happiness if they're good ones. And certainly Disney is out to have their guests have good memories. So let me ask you this, which is, I think, a great place to start as we speak to your life journey, as you just told us that you had the Disney experience. What is it that you are attracted to when you tell the stories on your podcast about creating really great experiences for those people who come and tune in to hear what you or your clients have to say? What is it that you are focused on?
Always, always, always. And thank you for asking that. Always focus on your audience. Like put yourself in the audience position, right? Do you just pick any movie to go to willy-nilly for your entertainment? Do you just go out and pick any old restaurant to go out to eat? I'm sure some might be just like, okay, let's experiment with life, right? But in general, you typically have a mood, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want pizza every day, or you don't want steak every day, or you want, veggies every day. So you really have to think about why should they give a DAMN to listen to you? It's not about you. You're the storyteller,
Yeah.
but it's not you, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely does. And when you're saying to someone who's interested in starting their own show, let's say, and and they come to you and they say, I'm completely lost, but I have this story in my belly, and I want to, I want to be on TV, or I want to be on a podcast and be out in the world, because Lord knows there's so many podcasts right now. How do you help them stand out in a crowded room, at least from the point of getting them started? Because I think when you set a foundation that's really solid, that kind of builds, or that is the basis upon which they can build and keep going forward.
100%. I almost said hundo. I'm right there with you, girl. Okay, no, seriously, you must have a foundation, right? Any good building, any structure that's ever built, and that includes relationships, right? A building that I'm physically in here, you have to have a foundation. And that foundation for podcasting specifically, number one, ultimately is, why are you doing this? And I'm not, when I say why, people tell me, oh, I want to grow brand recognition, or I want to share my story. Okay, yeah, that's great. That's come over like a what kind of thing.
Yeah.
Why are you ultimately doing it? So if I can give an example, one of the reasons why people ask me, like, how could you leave a corporate lucrative tech sales job to basically start new, fresh in an industry that, I didn't have any connections into. I just was passionate about the medium. Why are you doing this? And it took me a bit. What I initially thought was my why wasn't my actual why. It took about 2 years into it that I realized the reason why I'm doing this is because podcasting offers a unique tool in a very innovative medium, which is not new. It's a standard medium, to create your legacy and really share who you are. Because if we all know life goes on, right? After your great grandparents, people don't remember who you are more. You end up becoming a birth date and a death date. So what a great way to create something digital that's always going to be carried on.
Yeah.
And people can hear who you are, and they can choose, and by hearing you, whether they like you or not, right? So it's like, we tend to romanticize people in our past as being all amazing or all bad. And we know that there's multiple colors of us, right? There's no black or white. There's many shades. And so that's why I do this, is to help other people to find their voice, to create their legacy.
I love that. I love creating legacy is so important for me. I think with regards to, having built my foundation on such a great legacy my parents gave me, certainly that, passing on the baton to do it myself for, I never thought of it in terms of my children ever watching this, but maybe one day they'll look back and say, oh, my mother, it was actually cool. But if that's the case, I think that, definitely setting out a legacy of what they can do, and the people that I've met along the way, how incredible, like even definitely you included, and Andrew, and all the people who are showing up, like that is significant. So let me go back to the fact that I want to know a little bit more about your journey. Now we have your why. I love that. But how did you get here? I guess that's another, other than the fact that we know that about Disney now, but how did you get here to having 5 active shows going right now? It's just amazing to me, and it's a talent to me that you have that skill. Plus, you're so approachable that I can imagine anyone can learn anything from you as well.
Well, okay, so first off, I probably am undiagnosed. Okay, like I have so many different interests in life that, like, it just, if I find something really interesting, I just get super excited about, and I go for it, right? And I found podcasting is a way for me to think of it as this, and this is another thing to think about too, is if you launch your own podcast, and I'm not trying to sell people to launch their own podcast, because it may not be the right tool for you,
Right.
and something else might be a better tool for you to, show your creativity, or, whatever. But I will say, I have so many interests, and then listening to all my clients' podcasts, I feel like I'm getting a free masterclass.
Yeah.
And I love learning from people. I find people and humans amazing, interesting, lovable, dislikable in a lot of ways.
I love that.
But
Yeah.
but at the same time, I get to decide if I like them or not, right? It's my decision, right? And then that thing, I think that's what excites me. And so, yeah, I have 5 different podcasts because they're all different topics of areas that I find personally interesting. And when we put out the content, it's with the desire of, helping the audience out there. Again, it's more business focused, although there's one that's a pure 100% vanity, which is a music based podcast, but that's not even announced yet. That would make my 6th podcast if I do it. But
Oh wow. Well, I love music. Anything that'll get music out into the world, I say go for it. I would come listen to you for sure. One of the things I wanted to, specifically ask you is that, you have this company Innovations and what Innovation Media Enterprises, right? And,
Yes.
and how did you come up with that? Like, I know innovating is, I love it. If you innovate and you come up with new ideas all the time, how fantastic is that? You're constant, that clearly shows you learning all the time. So tell me about the name of the company that you decided on.
Girl, would you really want the truth? It was a lot of glass of wine. I was like sitting there like,
Best stories.
yeah, no, so again, my background's in technology, right? So how do you stay like ahead of the curve? And when we launched the business, we actually didn't launch the business, we launched the podcast first, which was called Innovation Calling. And it
Okay.
was my way of keeping the pulse. Look, I wasn't working at the time. I was trying to figure out what my next jump or life, I was having I was having a real life crisis, right? 20 plus years selling for someone else or representing someone else. And then I was finally free of the shackles. And I was like, uh-oh, who was seeing? I'm like, holy crap, someone asked me, well, if you're going to take some time off, what are you going to do? And I actually cried about it because I was like, crap on a cracker. I was like, I don't know what my hobbies are anymore. So so we launched Innovation Calling so I could kind of have an outlet creatively, but also keep my pulse on my network. So if I do have to go back to corporate America, I'm
Yeah.
not outside of it too far. So that was my selfish reason why we kept with innovation. And then innovation media, we're like, you know what is the next generation of media? And for
Yeah.
us, we felt podcast was that direction that integrates with social media platforms.
Which I think
So
is
that's where.
well, listen, I know that the best innovation comes from crisis. And I think that if people embrace it, like, oh, something good's going to come out of this, maybe it won't be so terrifying when you're going through it.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah,
the human mind is not necessarily like that. But a lot of the great stuff that, we create in our life comes out of necessity, right? So,
absolutely.
interesting, the fact that I want to keep my feet, but I think it's something about the 20, after 20 plus years, you're just like, yeah, I got to do something else because the human brain wants to keep creating something new, learning and developing and advancing. If you don't, you're just going to be like numb to the world. I think that at that point you're like, so what happened to you? I love the crisis because you said it. So I'm going to ask more about it.
Hold on, I don't know if I'm ready for this. No, absolutely. My position at my company was they what do you call it? They killed it, right? And so I was asked, they're like, hey, do you want the package or do you want to investigate other opportunities within the organization? And I was like, look, I was breaking out into hives every freaking forecast call. And all my colleagues know this. I mean, I'd be literally on these calls and they would see patches just starting to form on and I didn't even feel it. And
Wow.
that should tell you how unhealthy my life was at that moment because
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was manifesting distress as bad as I was.
Yeah.
So I took the package. I said, look, you know what? I no longer have the passion. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
And you have to, and for me, whatever you do in life, for me, you have to really respect and love whatever it is that you're doing. And I no longer felt that love or dedication to my previous employer. Not to say they were bad. They were not bad by any stretch. I just lost that love and feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoa, that loving feeling.
Whoa.
So,
Oh yeah, that loving feeling. Tell me about it. So,
it,
so you had actually broken out in hives. I mean, it's so
yeah.
funny. Like, we just don't pay attention until like our bodies are just imploding from within, and you're just like, okay, it's time to actually figure out what's going on right here, right? So
Yeah.
when you like you just told us when you left, you were like, oh my God, it's like you felt like you could breathe a little bit more, but you yet at the same time you were trying to hold on because you built a foundation that was huge there, and there's no point in setting it aside. So tell me, how did you get back that enthusiasm for your life and for your profession and your calling?
Girl, I traveled. I traveled for a year and a half and I got to see the world like I never got to because when you're working in sales, you're only as good as your last deal. So to me, it was like maybe that probably contributed to my hives was every 90 days you're basically on a contract, right? Like, what have you done for me lately, especially for a publicly traded company,
Right.
right? So we traveled, and I got into genealogy, and I ended up doing a pilgrimage of my I don't know what do you want to call my boyfriend, I guess. I did his family's genealogy, and we ended up doing a pilgrimage to his family, like relatives that I could find. And it was really cool, and it kind of got me remembering that we are so much more than our jobs. We are
Oh,
so much more in life. When you see how other people live,
yeah.
other languages and cultures, it was like so beautiful.
Talk
Yeah.
about
So
legacy too. Like you got to investigate your boyfriend's legacy as to where he came from and then go and find it. Like you could actually do that because you weren't tied down to any, punching clocks or anything like that. So,
yes.
wow. And, I have to say, Suzanne saying 5 shows is amazing. It is amazing. And the enthusiasm that you have for that now. Okay, so back to podcasting, because I think that this
Okay.
is really cool because I think, a lot of people are using it as a tool to get their brand out there
Mhm.
as a guest. And a lot of people are using it as an opportunity to have really great conversations with so many diverse people and meet new people and have that kind of platform. That's another side of the coin. So if someone, came to you and said, okay, for instance, I'm an author, so I have this book and I want to bring it to the world and I want to share it with the world and I don't know how to do it. Like, but what would be something that I would really need to contemplate before I like even took a podcast gig or something like that, because I don't like right now it's such a amorphous, like there's so many, like where would you be targeting yourself or pointing yourself?
Well, hey, you know who you want to talk to more than anybody else. So if what I suggest is really just kind of an outsider looking in type thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, everyone, ain't no shoe fits all. If we had that ability, we'd all be billionaires, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, any billionaires out there, I can dump my boyfriend, just saying. No, but realistically speaking is this. Okay, so if you have a book that's out there, okay, there are multiple ways you can do it. Podcasting does require dedication and time.
Yes.
Okay. And it depends on what kind of branding you want to go with it. So there are those that are all about spontaneity, right?
Right.
And they don't care about the quality of the audio, video, how they look. They're just like Gary Vee is a perfect example. The guy's like walking and he's like talking, and you're like, I'm gonna vomit watching his video. So, you know, but that's the branding that he wants to go with,
Yeah.
right? And there are others that are much more proper and much more form, like my co-host on Two Deer in Headlights. That's our Monday morning live stream.
Yeah.
Love JD Gershbein,
Love.
and shout out to JD.
Yes.
He's much more proper. He's like, look, I like to have fun, have spontaneous fun, but I'm looking good, and this set's gonna be perfect looking, right? And I'm gonna sound amazing. And that's nothing wrong with that. It
Yeah.
just depends on you, your brand, your message, and your value to
Right.
your audience.
And also, tell us about that new show that you have on Monday mornings. Yeah, Leslie knows JD. Yay to
Oh,
JD. Tell us about the show because it's brand new. It's only a few shows out right now. I know you probably have a ton now, but it's new, at least as far as time is concerned. Tell me about how that happened and how that came about as one of your active, 5 shows right now.
yeah, no. So I am kind of like misnomering it. We haven't launched it on the audio format just yet because we kind of wanted to perfect us a little bit more. So it will be going on the audio format to be a true technical podcast. So I want to like give shout outs there because I know there are going to be some folks in my industry saying, dude, you're not on RSS feed. What the hell are you talking about? We're getting there, people. We're getting there. We're kind of working it backwards.
Yeah.
But live stream, we opted to do live stream because we wanted to be authentic and we
Yeah.
wanted to reflect Two Deer in the Headlights. That is the name of the show. Because if for those that know JD and me, when things go wrong, we literally look like two deer in the headlights. We're like,
That's awesome.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
and but we all experience that, right? We've all sat in a meeting or we've all created content where we don't know what the hell we're doing, right? Like we don't know what just went wrong. And then you're starting to do that happy dance, right? Like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of it? And so that's literally the premise of it. And then on top of that, what we said was, hey, we're gonna do this on Mondays to kick off the work week for those that might be interested in to see, like, you know what? Life ain't perfect. We're
Yeah.
gonna like have things hit the fan all day. Why don't we just have some fun on a Monday morning? And that's actually the premise of Two Deer in the Headlights. Hopefully we can give some wisdom nuggets every now and then, but ultimately it's, for lack of a better descriptor, is just give that positive vibe that, hey, you know what, kick off your week and we're in it with you. And you couldn't do possibly worse than us. How about that?
Well, first of all, that's not true. You guys are you're exceptional, both of you. But the bottom line is that you can find this on LinkedIn, right? This is where you can go and get it. Yeah.
YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook are the three predominant places that we live stream. And then, like I said, we will put it on the RSS feed in audio format in about 2-3 weeks.
I love it. I want to, one of the things I love about my show is that I get to have you send me some inspirational quotes so that I can vibe off of that too. Because, for me, I am a like, I to be inspired or inspirational, I need the inspiration coming at me. So I asked you, and then these are the beautiful quotes that I got back from you. Not sure if fake enthusiasm or means it, right? I love that because obviously, we were talking about this before of how enthusiasm and it gets a bad rap a lot of times, where, it's funny because I even go into rooms sometime and I was a prosecutor for 20 years and people are like, no way. But the reality is when you came into my courtroom or when I was in the judge's courtroom, I had no joke. So, you can be who, but I prefer to be excited about life because I think that when you look for something wonderful. So tell me a little bit about this and what your point was to share this with me tonight.
100 absolute percent. So there are those that are just extroverts, right? Like I think you and I are extroverts where we just get excited and we just want to share with the world and we want to give whatever we can for others and no reciprocation expected. Well, unfortunately, we don't live in a world where that is accepted as uh, as genuine, right?
That's true.
And
That's
I just love Futurama first off. And I just love that face of like, not sure if you're like meaning this or not. And we're going to see this more and more. If, knock on wood, that, we don't go back down in lockdown again, we're going to have to do this interaction with each other remotely.
yeah.
And when you're enthusiastic, people think, oh, you're acting, you're being a theatrical person or whatnot. Are you really genuine? Are you authentic? Truthfully, it is, you're going to see that and you're going to have to overcome it in some way. Right. And not everyone's going to have the same level of enthusiasm as we do. Now, they might be just as enthusiastic, but there might not be extroverts. They might be more mellow,
Right. Yeah.
and that's why I just love that meme because I love memes. I'm a memer. I'm a love. I like if you could see what's going on in my head, half the time it's music playing. I've got an amazing DJ if everyone cares to listen. Or I just have visual images with memes all over the place because
Did
it
you
just
say
cracks
that
me up.
you're an amazing DJ? You're a DJ.
No, I have an amazing DJ in my head.
In your head. Oh my God, you have to
Best
have
DJ.
a podcast now because now I have to hear what's in that head of yours out in the world because if it's amazing. I love music and literally that is what gets me through some days. So, oh yeah, number 6 is coming soon. Let's get to see what's going to happen as far as the name. I'm sure it's going to be amazing as well. But here's another wonderful quote we have. Flaming enthusiasm backed up by horse sense and persistence is the quality that most frequently makes for success. Carnegie, my favorite, Dale Carnegie, one of the best. Lavish with praise, be hearty with your approbation. I love the guy. Tell me what this means to you and why did you want to share it tonight?
Hey, look, you can be enthusiastic all day long and you can be a cheerleader all day long. And maybe I'm going to do the sport analogy. You can be a cheerleader all day long, but the bottom line is the people that are actually doing the work are the football players or the basketball team or
Yeah.
whomever, the ping pong team, right? Or the runner or the gymnast, right? Look, you can be enthusiastic, but you got to put in work to see the effort that you want to see. You can cheer for others and be happy for their successes or failures, but it's you. You have to be persistent and you've got to have the discipline and you just got to put the effort and time in. I'm sorry, ain't no one cleaning your room but you,
Yeah.
right? Might as well do it with enthusiasm. Maybe have I don't know, a glass of water with iced tea and drink it while you're vacuuming. Who knows? Whatever, but whatever it is, you got to do it. That fire in the belly, like I keep saying, like find your why on why you're doing it, right?
I,
Why
you
am
know,
I doing laundry? Because I have to, because otherwise I'm going to walk around naked. That's my why.
oh, that's a good one. That's a
I
good
just realized
one.
you don't want that visual. I'm sorry. You didn't want that visual.
No, I was laughing because one of the things that my son was given as far as advice when he goes off to college is bring enough underwear that you just don't have to do laundry ever. Okay, so I don't know, which is where I'm like, okay, that's definitely being innovative, but I'm not sure. anyone wants to be around that enthusiastic child. But back to this again, I want
Right.
to say, having started in this part of your career, this wonderful new venture, it's not new now, you've been doing it for quite some time. One of the things that I think people forget about is how much persistent it takes to get through those momentary failures, the ones that like may block it. They're not really failures, they're learning experiences. And I'm sure you've never truly ever failed because you've always gotten back up and done it again. But the bottom line is here you are persisting, doing the work, bringing quality product to the table, and also bringing others backed up to the fact that they're going to be able to do something like that because they're based upon your wisdom and expertise, which is why you get paid the big dollars, because you have such incredible wisdom and expertise. And I think, one of the things I think that makes a person successful is that they do use that to like not only bolster themselves but bolster others along the way, which is definitely Syya for sure. And I think the bottom line, many times, and I like to ask you with regard to this, is what is the secret of your success other than the fact that you persist? Is it enthusiasm or is it something else?
Oh, girl, that's a tough one because not everyone has the same source of strength, if you will. I think ultimately, you, and it's going to be a learning process. And I said this earlier, actually, because Two Deer was earlier today. You got to love yourself, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to do anything for you. No one's going to support you. No one's going to, do anything unless you love yourself.
I love it.
And no one can love you more than you can love yourself as well, either, right? And you can't look to others to get it either.
Yeah.
And I think that is you're going to be mad at yourself at times, just like we have life partners where we're like, dude, I love you. Don't want to look at your face right now, right about now,
Yeah.
but that is ultimately it, right? You're going to fall, you're going to scrape, but it's that desire. Maybe I'm a little competitive. Maybe I'm a little, d- maybe I can thank my parents for teaching me to finish a task, though I have a hard time finishing tasks. I'm not going to lie. I squirrel all day long. Eventually I come back around to it, eventually.
Eventually.
But again, it's I don't know, maybe it's a you, I'm sorry, you have to love yourself because you're going to fail. You have to give yourself some grace to make those errors, and you have to give others grace to make those errors if you yourself have the expectation of others, and that way you can keep that firing burning. Sure, it'll dim every now and then, but just a little bit of bellow, a little air, just whoosh, and it comes right back again.
Yeah.
I know I'm being vague, but I think that's ultimately it.
I think that if you don't love yourself, you're going to add another block in your life that you don't really need because there's so many people out there who are like, but I've always thought of this, like nobody really cares about like they are not worried about you. They're like that
It's
you
true.
need to be concerned about you and go out in the world and do just authentically you, and which brings us to the beautiful, a true friend is someone who gives you total freedom to be yourself. And I love that you put this in the month of friendship because when you show up as authentically you, the people come and they align from that place. So tell me what you think about this. I love that. It's
You know
beautiful.
what? Thank you much. And by the way, in your book, it's the day after my birthday. I was selfish. I was like, ooh, let's see the quote for my birthday. But because I'm a music, fanatic,
Adore.
August 29th, so the next day. So it is my birthday month, by the way.
Yay! We get to celebrate with you.
Woo-hoo.
Awesome. Wonderful. Yes.
Um, I love music, right? And so the thing about friendships, and especially us, right? We're Gen Xers, and we've been through the seasons of friendship. We've had some really great friends along the time, and our path of life, if you will.
Yeah.
And there have been some rapids. There have been some waterfalls.
Yeah.
And what did TLC say? Don't go chasing waterfalls, right? So and that's the thing. There were friendships that I've made over the years that I realized weren't healthy for me, weren't healthy for them, or it was unequitable for whatever reason. And or sometimes relationships have its seasons, I guess, or it has its course that runs out, and it has no fault of anybody else other than it just wasn't perfect anymore for each
Yeah.
and true friends are the ones that will like will be there holding your hand. Like I did that. I found that picture and I just loved it
Yeah,
because
awesome.
they will love you when you are on your high of success, and they will love you when you're not being your best.
Yeah.
They will love you when you are sad, happy, etc. They will love you when you stink. And heaven knows with the pandemic, there's a lot of stinky friendships here that still persisted, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was the pandemic, I have to say, really brought out, I think, our true essence of what our definition of happiness is,
Yeah.
and friendship and networking and collaboration and business relationships. It brought up a lot to the surface, and
Yeah.
some of it wasn't so pretty. But I lost some friends, over this, and it's a sad thing. But I also want to, for the ones friends that I have lost, is it, something that you can make it back up again or find that path? I think if you're really into it, to again, if you're both in it,
Yeah.
I bet you can find a way to get back together again.
No, I think that's great. And I think that your points are definitely well said. This pandemic period has really kind of, you know, since we're talking the wash, brought a lot of things out in the wash. I'll just go on that. But I think a lot of it, was challenge for everybody. And if you're going to judge someone because of the way they've navigated, and that you just decide at this point in time that, no longer, cut them off or just walk away, then that's your choice. Everybody makes choices, but you have to be accountable. And I think that's beautiful, the true friends that, see you at your worst and say, okay, are you done? Are you done?
And
Or
call you out on it, and call you out
I,
on it. That's true friendship.
I agree. And here Tammy Taylor is saying happy birthday early. So everybody who is now a good friend of Sia's is welcome to wish her on her birthday, August 29th, or is it the 28th? What was it?
28th. I'm a palindrome.
Oh, you're a palindrome. So August 28th is her birthday. So we'll all have to like give her a huge shout out and wish her well. So back to, wonderful things about the wonderful enthusiasm that we all like to believe that we bring to our lives. Some days are good, some days are not so good. But I think that back to, sharing your story and the passion that you have for it. And now that you like you said, everyone is coming out of this whole experience with a pandemic very differently. We have a new normal. Unfortunately, it has changed a lot what we were used to in the past. But we're all resilient, and we all can figure out ways to be enthusiastic going forward. And I think that podcasting certainly is something that is going to stay hot for many years to come. I don't think it's going anywhere. So back to you and your wonderful vision for your future. And I always say extraordinary people have big visions for their life. Tell me what that looks like for you.
Oh my goodness gracious. I want to kiss the stars. I want to be on one of those flights, but not paying $250,000 for it, or $450 million, whatever the heck price point it is nowadays.
Yeah.
No, I think I I think I would like to call it wisdom. I have wisdom enough to know that my next 5 years may not be what I planned for. Because if you asked me 5 years ago what I was doing, I couldn't be even beginning to imagine I'd be here
Yeah.
today, right? Now that being said, I love the medium of podcasting. And for those that say it's a crowded space, who am I to have an opinion? Or what if I put out content out there that, people may not listen to? Look, my suggestion is this. There are 75 million books out there. Meg, you just you just wrote a freaking book, okay? I do it backwards. You just wrote a book, and that's 75 million plus one, right? There's less than 2 million podcasts out there. So the world is your oyster, everybody, because you are unique. You are your own legacy. And by the way, you know your audience better than anybody else with whom you're talking to. I say it all the time. It's a saying of mine. I'm going to put it out there on your show, Meg. There's a lock for every key.
I love that. It's a great because it's a magical key to bliss, we have to deal with. So I love it. There's a lock for every key. How beautiful. And with in that spirit, one of the things, I'm writing this article right now. It's about belonging, right? This need that we all have of connections and belonging. And we always are trying to put ourselves into boxes, like in high school or, everyone, the mean girls and like this group and that group, and you had to fit in. If you didn't fit in, I just never fit into any group. I was like always with the ones who just like, whatever, who you are is, who you are. And I loved that. But life, you're kind of striving or being taught to strive to find this box that you're going to jump into. But there's no rigid, I personally think there's no box. The bottom line is that, we're looking for these connections. So one of the things that I love as part of these connections is I get really interested in what you use in your life to move the party forward. Keep it going. Keep your persistence up. Maybe recharge a little and then turn back around and say, okay, here we are again.
I love that you asked that. I apologize, I disappeared. I don't know what happened there.
No, it's okay. I was like, okay, there she is again. So no worries. It's the beauty of the podcasting live, right? You said it yourself. I think that you did this as you're like, oh, live. It's all, whatever happens, deer in headlights. So you wanted me to be the deer in the headlights, literally. So anyway, go ahead.
Hey, by the way, you mastered it because it was interesting. Like for some reason my video feed left, but I can still hear you. It was weird. So I just logged back on and logged back in again. But you mastered the deer in the headlight moment extraordinarily well. You're extraordinarily professional. So congratulations.
So if you have Syya on your podcast or on your YouTube show, she might just do that to you to see whether or not you can actually cut it in the real world, right?
Oh,
no,
girl,
I'm kidding. No, she's awesome. No, it was all the wonderful technology that we all embrace so greatly. But anyway, so tell me about, yeah, go ahead.
I would say if it will break, it will break. If it can't break, it will break. So okay, so going back to I squirreled you. Sorry about that, Meg. So we were talking about
connections and what you use to help you through connections move yourself forward in life.
Yes. So here's the thing about anything like connections or just anything. Little baby steps, little wins. Celebrate those little wins because those little wins build up and you can stack them up so they become your stairs. So whatever your goal is, you've got the basis of everything of all those happy little wins that keep you motivated as you climb that mountain of whatever goal that you're trying to achieve. Yeah. And maybe because I'm a simpleton, literally anything makes me happy and smile because unfortunately we are older and we're starting to see the the circle of life.
Is that
song the DJ just switched music on me, and so I'm doing Circle of Life now. But yeah, no, it's true though. Is you know what? Bringing it kind of back to that whole legacy portion of it is the stop and smell the roses. Enjoy it. Enjoy the little bees flying around. Which, by the way, save the bees. But do enjoy those little moments because you know what? It's that one flash in the pan moment that will never be relived again for you in that moment in time. And how beautiful it is that you got to experience it.
Oh, I totally agree. And I think that, and they always, you go back and you look and those small moments were the big moments. And I love that you pointed that out. And, these are the kind of conversations, like I ask these extraordinary people to share with me their tools, to help manifest, because the show's all about manifesting this incredible life of ours and how we all want to step into this new decade, with, those secret sauce, to life that maybe I can use something that has been very successful for you and add it to my life if it fits or not. So what are some of the tools that you use that add to the success that is you?
I gotta tell you, I've had the exposure of being around a lot of successful individuals. Just a full disclosure, I'm like a Dallas co-chair of a business organization, and the quote successful folks, the real successful folks are extraordinarily humble.
Yeah.
They have they don't want anything from you. They just want to give. And that is one of the reasons why, the group that you and I met in, Frank Agan's group, I have never met so many giving and humble individuals that are just wanting to see you be successful.
Yeah.
So I have another saying here, Meg. I know you're going to love it. Like, I didn't realize that at my age, I'd become a sayings person, but all ships rise with the tide. And if you can give of yourself freely in a way that helps someone else become successful, they will remember it, whether you call it karma or they just want to reciprocate something more tangibly. It doesn't matter. Successful people collaborate with successful people, and good people hang out with good people.
Love it. That is so
So
true. So if you find someone good and you can totally vibe with that, you know that whatever they bring to the party is going to be good. And I totally agree with you there. So let's go back to what we were talking about at the outset, intentional, and your intention for the evening and for the conversation. I mean, I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours and hours, but that would be my intention for another day over a glass of wine. I'll happen into, to Texas and find you. But so what was your intention for this evening? And then what was the page you chose?
So that's funny. So going back to the one I picked was August 29th, the page 263. That was the True Friends. But there was another one that I liked that I didn't pull that one. Hold on. Oh, it would be page 248. It's August 14th. So I stuck with the month.
Okay.
And I will say this because full disclosure, this is a hard month for me. And just because I'm enthusiastic and I'm positive and energetic doesn't mean I don't feel, right? Pain or negativity or self doubt or anything like that. So, what resonated to me was I affirm only the good in life.
Mm,
And that was from Louise Hay, American author of You Can Heal Your Life.
yeah.
Because you title it How Precious, blah, I learned how to read, How Precious It All Is.
Mhm.
And life is so beautiful. And I cannot tell you every day the fact that we're breathing. I mean, the fact that you and I can talk today, the fact we've got to meet each other and learn from each other. And I feel like I'm a better person because I've gotten to know you. It's so beautiful. It's precious because no one can take that away from me.
Yeah, no, I think that is by far the best thing that you could have said today is how precious it all is. And when we're dealing with, people that we have come to love and even come to meet and then love, it adds to your life. And you can say, God, I know these, like, how lucky was I? How great was I? And I think that most of these conversations for me, why I get to do this is one, I just love having incredible conversations with people who bring so much value to my life by virtue of your enthusiasm. Every time I see you in our group, our networking, I always get excited. So definitely brings a lot to the table as far as, your wisdom, your expertise, your gifts, and your incredible personality. Because, people I can see when you enter a room, people will incredibly flock to you because you're just sunshine in a bottle, right? So, I think that's a good thing. So now that we're like into this part of the interview where, you've shared with us, your intention. I love it. And then, you're also sharing with us some tools. What is it that you want to manifest for the last part of this year, since we're in August now? And I do hope the fact that that I have this interview with you this month, any kind of difficulties or challenges that you're going through, that you're very well loved by many outside of your inner circle as well. But I wanted to go back and ask you, what are the hopes, dreams, aspirations you have for the latter part of 2021, now that we're almost there? Can you believe that? It's
I
soon.
I cannot. Every time my birthday comes around, I'm like, damn, I'm getting old. And like, oh, the year's almost over. Oh my goodness gracious. Um, you know, I, seriously, like, because as I mentioned, and just so full disclosure, I've lost many, many close friends and family during this month and September. And it was like a very rough time. 7 people in a 6 month time frame. And of those 7, 6 was in like a month and a half. Like it was a crazy time.
Wow.
And so every year, every now and then, I think I found my peace. I think I found my center. So for me, what I have focused on the last few years is really intentionally accepting what I'd mentioned, how precious it all is,
Yeah.
but also understanding that like you can't always be chipper, smiley for the sake of, I mean, I hate to say it, like Robin Williams was that person,
Yeah, he
right?
was.
He wanted everyone to be happy around him and he would give of himself to the point where he drained himself,
Yeah.
unfortunately, right? And so for me, I think the latter half of this year is I have to remind myself, look, I'm allowed to feel down. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to cry. I'm allowed to feel like I'm, that momentary moment of like, I'm nothing. Granted, it's not permanent, you know. Although I don't want to diminish that feeling, but look, when I have like 4 piles of basket of laundry to do, I do feel like I'm nothing. I'm like, I don't want to start it. No.
That's
But
awesome.
But I mean, but it's accepting that that procrastination usually is an indicator of something else,
Yeah.
right? If you're procrastinating, you're not doing something. There's a bigger reason why you're not doing it,
I
and
agree.
that's my life first off. But yeah, the rest of this year, oh my gosh, it's gonna be far more focused and hyper focused for me. It's
Yeah.
only anyone that can help me. Just tell me to
Yeah.
get off my ASS. I would appreciate it.
Well, in the middle of her almost 6 shows now, for that's the procrastinating, right? She has 6 shows going, and yet she's a procrastinator. I get it. So whatever. But the bottom line is that you still have been able to do and accomplish so much with your beautiful company called Innovation Media Enterprises. And I want to say this to anyone out there who is contemplating, going into the podcast world or any kind of media world. Sia, where can people find you? Where can they go out and they go, I want to meet her. I love her. Just like everyone I know loves you. Where can they find you and they can, contact you to get involved with whatever it is that you're doing, or maybe you can inspire them as well.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, first off, with the name of Syya, Syya, literally you just Google my name and
Yeah.
you'll find me. But on Twitter and gosh, Instagram, I am S Yaso. If you'd like to chat with over there. I'm not much of an Insta. I'm sorry, I'm not that cool. But I mean, every now and then I'll post. But 100%, I live on LinkedIn. So Syya Yasotornrat. Like I said, just Google me. You'll find me. Syya podcast. You'll definitely find me. So you don't have to worry too much about that. So, but
And the other 4 shows that you're we're still waiting for the music, but what are the other 4 shows that you're involved with? What are they titled as well?
well, okay, yeah, and I just do want to clarify. I produce for other clients. That's actually how I make my money. The
Okay.
5 shows I do are pure vanity projects
Okay.
because I just have so much fun and I talk to so many cool people that I want them all in my life all at once. And I love you all. I hug you all. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm like that kind of person. I get it. Meg, you and I talked about that.
Yes,
But
sure.
so I do 3 live streams, and the reason why I do live streams is it's lower production value as far as I don't do any post production editing, unless it's horrible and something absolutely goes wrong. So I can just get content out there faster, because my goal is for people to get to know who I am, but also really share the value of podcasting as a content tool for your
Yeah.
marketing strategy. Okay, me very clear on that. So
Yeah.
Monday live stream at 10 a.m. And by the way, all my live streams are at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm based in Dallas. So Monday is Two Deer in the Headlights with JD Gershbein, and we talk about life as far as how amazing we are at screwing up. I'm kidding, no. We talk about cool business concepts, but we do it in a fun way. And hopefully, if you pick up some wisdom of nugget, congratulations. But we don't take ourselves too seriously. My Wednesday is called The Mic is Listening. And basically, that one's evolving, actually. It wasn't what I initially launched it as, because we produce so many podcasts for our clients. I was getting bored myself of just pushing out the same content of all my clients. So I said, screw it. I'm going to start talking about their shows. And if you like them, hopefully my voice will help you go to them as well.
Yeah.
Just changing it up. And then, of course, have the ability. And Meg, I told you, I'm like, you should get on my Mic is Listening so we can talk about that. But and then Wednesday, or I'm sorry, that was Wednesday. Friday is Afterglow, and it's because we are the Dallas co-chairs of Global Leaders Organization, so Glow,
I
and
like
that is Glow does a Thursday speaker series for free. Anyone can go every Thursday morning, and we talk about it. My original intention was to make it like an after Oscars kind of like gab fest.
I love that.
And then my partner, she's like, girl, that's great, but you can't be saying how ugly their dress is or whatever, right? Because they're world renowned speakers. So I was like, fine, I'll be a little bit more professional, but we do give constructive feedback. Like, not all advice is applicable.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it's okay to say, hey, great speaker, wasn't sure about this point, and let's talk about why, or is it? And then we kind of debate it, which is Afterglow. And then the other two is Ransomware Battleground. So I have a sponsor for that. So Air Gap has been gracious enough to help me. For me, my background's in network security, and I get to talk about hacking and ransomware and all that good stuff. And then the IT recruiter in me, and because I'm all about diversity and inclusion, as we all know, not all industries are welcoming of women or others. So it's called the CISO Diaries, and that is all about interviewing executives in cybersecurity leadership that have carved their path outside the standard. There is no path to leadership in security. And so if you want to be the next generation leader, we want to highlight all those individuals that got there and paved the way. So really interesting. It's very niched, very niched. So again, that's the other thing.
Anyone who's listening has many different avenues that they can get tons of master classes from Syya and many guests. And I don't know, you can never, there can never not be enough information out there. Certainly if you go to her, you'll definitely leave with a lot of wisdom and kernels of, whatever it is you're looking for in those niche podcasts, or maybe just those other ones that, you just want to hang out and just, start your week off great with JD and Syya, or, end your week off great being catty and not talking about their outfits, or, who knows what else. But, at least there's something there for everyone that to actually jump in and see what it's like is fantastic. So I want to ask you now, what would be a final bit of inspiration that you can share with us tonight, so that we can walk away thinking, oh my God, this is a precious moment, than time. And I know that we already are going to do that, but that Syya has a bit of inspiration to give us. We can leave the month of August, sharing in, whatever events are waiting for us the rest of the year.
So thank you so much, Meg. Thank you so much for asking me to join. And I just love what you're doing. Your book is amazing. So yeah, no promotion or anything, but I'm just saying it's available, and it's got a pretty thick. It's a lot of great reading. No, but it is so helpful. I love this. I mean, I'm a huge fan of yours, Meg. And when you told me you were writing this book, I was like, damn, girl, I love it. But parting thought, maybe because of the course of this conversation, but really, always love yourself no matter what you do. And by loving yourself, allow yourself to try anything.
I love it. Those are great tips. So love yourself, and love yourself enough to try anything. Fun fact.
Legally.
And if it's illegal, don't get caught, please. Anyway, fun fact for us tonight is that was my first book that came out in 2015. I have been, showing this. This is my third book that's coming out September 7th. So right now I do my, very, gratuitous pitch at the end. Go out and pre-order it. It'll be great to, get your support. Certainly. Yeah, there's Syya. Go talk to my friend Syya. She's amazing and what she does as well. And, brings a lot of wonderful, incredible content to the world. And, we're all here just trying to, bring our gifts and talents to do what Disney said at the outset. Do it so well that other people want to come back and see how well you do, in fact, do what you do authentically, being you. So with that, I want to thank you again, Syya, for joining me. And this has been an incredible interview. You are an amazing person, and you also literally bring sunshine to this world. So I am grateful to have met you and engage you into my circle of friends. Since Andrew is our brother, now you're my sister. So I didn't know that, but now we know that. So anyway, I want to thank you, and I want to, encourage everyone definitely to reach out to Syya. And if not for anything, you get to hear her awesome voice, because she definitely has an awesome voice for sure. And also to all of you who join us every month, as I bring my shows, my podcast, my YouTube to the fore, my conversations with extraordinary people, it can't happen without all of you. So I do appreciate all of you as well. And I do value these moments as those precious moments. So with that, happy birthday in advance to you, Syya. I'm celebrating you with you, and I hope that you have a wonderful day on the 28th, on your Palindrome Day. I want to tell everyone to remember that you're all here to be the deliberate creators of your life. Be persistent, like she says. Love yourself. Try something new. Dream big. Let us all together raise the positive vibration wherever we are. Once again, let's love ourselves exactly where we are. Reach out and help continue to spread the love, spread your message, spread your joy, spread your talents. But most of all, be enthusiastic, because it is contagious. And at the end of the day, we're all here to manifest the life of our dreams. So thank you again, Syya. I adore you. Thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.